Heartwarming rescue. K9 discovers little girl in the snow, exposing incredible truth about love. The snow fell heavy and warm that afternoon, like a flurry of soft hugs from the sky. Lily, a 10-year-old girl with wild curls and a wild imagination, stood outside her small, weathered home, her breath forming tiny clouds in the icy air. She felt a surge of excitement bubbling inside her, a call to create something magical, a snowman. Against the stark blanket of white, she rolled and shaped the snow, her giggles echoing through the empty street. Little did she know, far beyond her simple joy, a storm was brewing, not just outside, but inside her heart. Lily often felt like the odd one out at school. Her quirky hobbies, like collecting abandoned bird nests and dreaming of fairy kingdoms, set her apart. It was easy to blend in on a day like this, but inside, she longed for connection, understanding, a friend who could see her true self. In her mind, she conjured up fantastical worlds, wishing for a link to the magic she felt but never saw. Meanwhile, her single mother Sarah trudged through her day. 2 part-time jobs were all she could string together after the heartbreaking loss of her full-time position. Each day was a test of endurance, yet Sarah was determined to provide for her daughter, blissfully unaware of the emotional void forming between them. The winds howled as Lily built her snowman, growing bolder with each frosty scoop. Time slipped away, and soon the familiar contours of the town blurred. The once joyful play had turned into disorientation, a chilling realization that she was lost. Panic gripped her chest as she looked around, the white world transforming from magical to menacing. Far off, Mike, a humble veteran whose heart ached from overlooked sacrifices, received an urgent call that cut through the swirling snowstorm. Duke, his K9 partner, was ready, sensing the shifting tides of fear hanging in the air. Instinct kicked in as Duke sniffed and maneuvered through the storm, darting between snowdrifts with determination. The bond between man and dog was palpable, a mix of duty and love propelling them forward. Just as despair threatened to swallow Lily whole, she spotted a figure. Duke. He bounded towards her, a furry beacon against the swirling snow. Relief washed over her in waves. She knelt down, arms wide open, tears mixing with the cold. Duke nudged her gently, his warmth cutting through the icy grip of fear. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Duke led Lily back through the snow, word spread through the town, igniting a spark of unity among neighbors who had, for too long, remained distant. They rallied together, bringing blankets, hot cocoa, and the warmth of community to the forefront, much like that of a family coming together in a time of need. Meanwhile, Sarah's heart raced as she battled her own demons, wrestling with fears of not being enough for Lily. The sight of her daughter, wrapped in Duke's protective embrace, ignited a fire within her, a determination to bridge the gap she had allowed to widen. As the last flakes of snow settled eerily over the town, they all stood on the brink of discovery, ready to unearth wounds and heal together. Would they find the strength to confront their pasts, mend the rifts, and build new ties in the face of adversity? As the lights of home seeped warmth into the chilling air, unspoken questions lingered. Could love bring them together when everything else threatened to pull them apart? Lily felt her heart race as Duke led the way through the snow, his presence a solid anchor in a world that had just moments ago felt so confusing and lonely. The excitement that had once filled her was tempered now with a tiredness. The whisper of snowflakes falling around her was calming, and she cherished how Duke stayed close, offering a steadfast bond that comforted her with every paw print he made in the snow. A gathering of townsfolk began to form at the edge of the street, their faces aglow with worry turned to relief as they witnessed the brave rescue. Sarah broke through the crowd, a mix of terror and exhaustion etched into her features. She rushed to Lily, wrapping her arms tightly around her daughter and holding her close, as if afraid she might let go once again. Lily. "Oh, my sweet girl." Sarah's voice cracked, her emotions spilling out. The world around them faded as mother and daughter only had eyes for each other, surrounded by warmth that transcended the winter chill. But as they stood in that poignant embrace, unspoken words filled the air. Lily resolved to speak, her little voice trembling. "Mom, I thought I lost you. I was scared." Her cheeks glistened with tears, a sharp contrast against the white snow. "I know, sweetheart. I was scared too," Sarah whispered, brushing a soft curl behind Lily's ear. "But we have each other. I want to let you feel alone again." A promise hung in the air between them, blooming with hope, and in that moment, it felt like a shared truth was born. Quiet whispers and admiration rippled through the crowd, watching the heartfelt reunion. They saw struggles mirrored in each other's faces. Just like Sarah, they knew the challenges of life, being overwhelmed, feeling lost, lacking support. Yet, here they were, together in this moment of love, a communal experience sparked by a little girl and her devoted dog. Mike stood off to the side, a bittersweet smile tugging at his lips. As he watched Sarah and Lily, he recognized his own battles reflecting in their joy and relief. He remembered the days he felt overlooked and cast aside. But Duke had always been there, reminding him of loyalty and love, pushing him to notice the little joys in every day. Duke wagged his tail, sensing the warmth of emotions around him. He approached Mike, nudging him gently, a reminder of their bond, their shared struggles, their victories. As the crowd began to mingle, offering cups of steaming cocoa, blankets, and smiles, it felt like a turning point. People who had once passed each other by now found themselves sharing stories of resilience and strength. They were just moments away from forging the connections they had longed for. "What can I do to help you?" an older neighbor asked Sarah, his voice thick with genuine concern. The other residents joined in, offering everything from meals to companionship, embers of community catching flame. Lily turned to her mother, her eyes wide with questions. "Do you think we can really be a part of this, Mom?" Her hopeful gaze flickered like the dancing light from the street lamps. "Absolutely, Lily," Sarah assured her, an unexpected burst of enthusiasm growing in her chest. But deep down, she felt the unease of intertwined lives, wondering if they could truly embrace the gift of support from others. That night, as they settled into their home, warmth wrapped around them like a blanket. But a lingering thought nagged at Sarah's heart. Could this small town really unite in such a profound way? Outside, the snow continued to fall, wrapping the world in a quiet stillness, whispering untold stories yet to be uncovered. Inside, two hearts beat as one, but would they have the courage to lean on those around them for love? And just as her eyes drifted shut, Lily wondered what adventures awaited them in this newfound bond. But as dreams began to take form, a knock echoed on their door, shattering the silence and igniting questions that could change everything once again. Lily's heart jumped at the sudden knock. It echoed in the warm room, a stark contrast to the peacefulness that had just settled over them. Sarah's eyes flew open, and she glanced at Lily, who looked equally bewildered. "Mom, what if it's someone who needs help?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper, eyes wide with curiosity and a hint of fear. Sarah took a deep breath, her own heart racing from the unexpected interruption. "Let us see," she replied, rising from the comfort of the couch while wrapping her shawl tighter. She shot a reassuring smile at Lily, hoping to mask her own uncertainty. With careful steps, Sarah approached the door, the wooden floor creaking softly beneath her feet. She hesitated for a moment, listening intently. The wind howled outside, but there was no other sound. When she slowly opened the door, she was taken aback. Standing there was a woman in a thick parka, snowflakes clinging to her dark hair. Her cheeks were flushed from the cold, but her eyes held an urgency that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. "Hello," the woman said, her breath visible in the chilly air. "I'm Anna. I'm from the next town over. I heard about your daughter and wanted to check on you both. I brought some extra supplies." Surprise flickered in Sarah's mind. "Thank you, but how did you know?" Anna glanced down, her composure wavering slightly. "I've been following the news. People talked about the little girl lost in the woods." She hesitated, then continued, "I also used to volunteer in search and rescue. I know how important community is. I thought you might need a hand." A wave of gratitude washed over Sarah, but it was mixed with an inexplicable feeling of vulnerability. "That's really kind of you," she finally managed. "We're all right now," but before she could finish, Lily burst forth from behind her mother. "You came to help us?" Her eyes sparkled with a childlike optimism, seeing only the good in this stranger. Anna knelt down, meeting Lily's gaze. "Yes, sweetheart. I wanted to make sure you both were okay. Here, I brought hot cocoa and some snacks." She revealed an insulated bag filled with treats, beaming at the child as if she were the most precious being on earth. Lily's face lit up. "Thank you. And Duke loves treats, too." She nudged the dog forward, who now stood eagerly, tail wagging in excitement. As Anna interacted with Duke, Sarah felt a tightness in her throat. It was an overwhelming reminder that kindness still existed in the world, that they were not alone in their struggles. But a quiet worry lingered. Would they be able to accept this generosity? Would they allow themselves to be drawn into a community that had once felt distant? "Really, we're okay," Sarah said, glancing at her daughter, who was entranced by Duke's playful energy with the stranger. "We just needed a moment to breathe." Anna studied Sarah, her expression shifting from sympathy to understanding. "It's not just about being okay. It's about allowing others to be there for you. It's hard, I know, but it's okay to lean on others sometimes, especially after something so scary." Lily, sensing the heaviness in the air, tugged at her mother's sleeve, her excitement palpable. "Can we please keep her?" she asked, a wide smile breaking across her face. "She's nice." Sarah felt her resolve shake. Could she open their home and hearts to someone new, yet be vulnerable enough to accept support? As uncertain thoughts raced through her mind, she caught a glimpse of Duke's wagging tail, and an internal shift began to occur. A flicker of hope sprung up within her. Maybe this was the start of something new, something beautiful that could lift them from their struggles. As the three of them gathered around the table, hot cocoa steaming in their hands, laughter bubbled in the room, momentarily banishing the cold from outside. But deep within Sarah lingered one burning question: was she truly ready to take that leap into the unknown? And just as they broke into playful conversation, the door creaked again, this time accompanied by familiar voices, those from the neighborhood. Outside, a small crowd began to form, ready to join in their warmth. Would this be the moment that transformed everything? The laughter hung in the air like warm smoke, wrapping Sarah and Lily in a cocoon of newfound comfort. Anna's presence felt like a cozy blanket, and for the first time in weeks, Sarah allowed herself a moment of pure joy. She watched as Lily excitedly chatted with Anna about her adventures in the woods, eyes wide with the thrill of her story. "And Duke was so brave, wasn't he, Mom?" Lily's voice rang out, her hands animatedly gesturing as she recounted the tale. Sarah felt a gentle smile spreading across her face. "That sounds just like him," Anna chimed in, brushing Duke's soft fur with a gentle hand. "Dogs have a way of bringing out the best in us. They're our little heroes, aren't they?" "Yeah!" Lily exclaimed, her excitement infectious. "He's my best friend." But then there was that familiar weight in Sarah's chest, the memory of what had happened, the icy tendrils of fear creeping back. She shook it off and focused on the warmth blooming in the room, on the laughter that seemed to radiate from the walls themselves. At that moment, the door swung open wider, and a small wave of familiar faces spilled into the room, neighbors, friends, and even a few people Sarah recognized from town. Their smiles and kindness washed over her like sunshine breaking through clouds. "Is everything all right?" one of the neighbors asked, stepping forward with a basket filled to the brim with comforting home-cooked meals. "We heard you might need some help," another chimed in, her arms full of blankets and sweets. Sarah's heart raced, a torrent of emotions threatening to spill over. The vulnerability she had tried to shield herself from was being exposed in this very moment, and yet it didn't feel nearly as scary as she thought it would. Instead, it felt strangely comforting. "Thank you. We're okay now," Sarah replied, her voice thick with gratitude. "Just unexpected visitors." "Unexpected but welcome," Anna added, her smile radiant as she glanced at the newcomers with enthusiasm. Almost instinctively, she reached for a hot cocoa and raised it in a toast. "Here's to community and kindness." As they all echoed her cheers, serving the cocoa and snacks, laughter echoed through the once quiet home. Sarah felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes, not from sadness but the overwhelming realization that they were not alone. But then amid all the excitement, Sarah noticed a subtle shift in Lily. The little girl had sidelined herself, taking quiet refuge behind Duke, her big eyes scanning the crowd as if searching for something. "Lily," Sarah said gently, crouching next to her. "What are you feeling?" "I love everyone's here," she said softly, her voice trembling slightly. "But what if they find out how scared I was? What if they don't like me anymore?" Sarah's heart ached. "Sweetheart, being brave doesn't mean you can't be scared. Everyone has fears. It's what makes us human. You are loved for exactly who you are. You will always be my brave girl." Taking a deep breath, Lily stepped forward, her small heart a mix of anxiety and determination. She broke into a shy smile as she approached the small gathering, her hand slipping into her mother's reassuring grip. Anna knelt beside Lily again, her eyes sparkling. "You're so brave, sweetie. Why don't you show everyone Duke's favorite trick?" Stepping into the spotlight, a spark ignited in Lily's smile. She nodded eagerly and called Duke over. The dog trotted up, always eager to please, and as Lily gave him instructions, an eruption of laughter and applause filled the room. Sarah's heart swelled with pride. Finally, her daughter was letting go of the fear. Relief washed over her too, knowing this community was not just accepting but embracing them with wide-open arms. Yet as the energy soared, another thought crept into Sarah's mind, a whisper among the cheers. Even as everything felt perfect in that moment, a storm of uncertainty bubbled beneath the surface. What if this cheerful acceptance came with unspoken expectations? What if they weren't really ready for this? Lost in the whirlwind of warmth and joy, she tried to shake off the thought. But just as those doubts threatened to settle back in, a sharp rapping on the door interrupted the celebration. The crowd paused, eyes turning toward the entrance. There was something almost ominous about this knock, something unfamiliar. Lily, whose joy had been palpable just seconds ago, instinctively tightened her grip on Duke. What now? What more could they face? With a heart divided between hope and dread, Sarah took a steadying breath. What awaited them on the other side of that door? The air hung heavy with anticipation. The laughter faded into a whisper, replaced by a quiet curiosity as all eyes turned to the door. Sarah felt the pulse of her heart quicken, a mix of fear and protectiveness washing over her. "Stay close to me, Lily," she whispered, guiding her daughter to her side as her grip tightened on Duke's leash. The dog sensed the change in mood, ears perked and body tense, ready for whatever might come next. Another knock sounded, firmer this time. Anna took a step forward, her expression shifting from cheerful to cautious. "Do you want me to check?" she asked, casting a glance over her shoulder. Sarah nodded, the weight of uncertainty heavy on her chest. "Just, be careful." Anna opened the door slowly. The creak broke the silence, and the gathering drew closer, peering over Anna's shoulder. A woman stood framed in the doorway, bundled in a thick coat, her breath visible as she exhaled into the crisp air. The moment she spotted Sarah and Lily, her eyes lit up with recognition. "Sarah!" she called out, rushing forward. "Emily?" Sarah's voice trembled with surprise. Emily, a friend from the neighborhood, hadn't been around for weeks. What are you doing here?" "I came to see if you were okay." I heard Emily hesitated, her voice faltering. "I heard about what happened." The words lingered in the air, a gentle reminder of the storm that had hit their lives. Sarah felt her composure waver, but she pushed through. "We're managing, really. Just trying to find our footing again." Emily stepped further inside, shaking off the cold. "I brought something. I thought it might help." As she reached into her bag, her expression softened at the sight of Lily hiding behind her mother. "Lily, darling, is that you?" Lily peeked out, a small smile breaking through her apprehension. "Hi, Emily. Look what I brought." Emily pulled out a colorful box, revealing a set of art supplies. "I thought you might like to make some pictures. Maybe of Duke?" Lily's eyes sparkled, her fear seeming to melt away at the sight of the bright colors. "Can we, Mom?" She looked up at Sarah, hope clear in her expression. Before Sarah could respond, another knock echoed from the door, this one more insistent. The crowd exchanged glances filled with both curiosity and concern. "Should someone else get that?" someone suggested quietly. "No," Sarah replied, shaking her head. "Let us see who else may need to be here with us." She felt a tug of responsibility to stand firm. With steady hands, Anna opened the door again. This time, they were greeted by a pair of uniformed police officers, their serious faces stark against the stark white of the outside snow. "Is everything all right in here?" one of the officers asked, glancing over the crowd of familiar faces. There was something urgent in their expressions that sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. "Oh no, what happened?" Sarah's world shifted again, her body tensing. She had wished for comfort, not chaos, and now uncertainty loomed larger than ever. "Just some routine checks. We've received reports about a child lost out in the snow." The officer's voice was calm, but the weight of the words hung in the air. Lily's playful spirit dimmed again, her brow furrowing. What if that child gets scared? What if they are alone? Sarah felt a knot in her stomach. Even as her daughter's innocent words rang true, the weight of Lily's fear echoed through her. "You're not alone," Sarah said softly, bending down to meet her eyes. "None of us are." But still, she couldn't shake the feeling that something dark brewed just outside their warm walls. The officer's presence cast an uneasy shadow over the gathering. The warmth and laughter felt distant now, replaced by the gravity of the situation. A movement caught her eye, and out of the corner of her view, she spotted something darting through the snow outside, something small and frantic. "Look!" Sarah pointed, heart racing. "Someone's out there." As they all turned, a sinking realization gripped the room. Was the unsettling knock just the beginning? What did that mean for them, for the little girl left in the cold? With determination rising within her, Sarah felt ready to tackle whatever awaited. Would they find a way to keep their warm celebration alive amidst the brewing storm? What would it take to safeguard their little community? The only path forward led into the cold and uncertain night, and she knew that they could no longer hide from what loomed just beyond their door. The group surged to the window, their collective breath fogging the glass as they strained to see through the swirling snow. Sarah's heart pounded against her chest as she tried to focus on the blur of movement she had spotted. She bit her lip, fear creeping back in. What if it really was an innocent child caught in the bitter chill? "Please, please be okay," she murmured under her breath. Anna stepped back, pulling Sarah away from the window. "We need to stay safe," she urged, unease coloring her voice. "Let the officers handle it." But Sarah couldn't stand still. Every fiber of her being urged her to spring into action. Gathering her courage, she called over her shoulder, "Lily, stay back. I need to see what's happening." With Duke at her side, she pulled open the front door, the biting cold instantly wrapping around her like a tight hug. The snowflakes swirled in the air, dancing wildly in the wind. Sarah stepped onto the porch, straining her eyes in the direction of the movement. "Hey!" she shouted, voice steady despite the chill in her lungs. Is someone out there? The frantic movement ceased for a moment, and then it resumed, darting from behind a snow-covered tree. Over here. A voice cried, tiny yet full of hope. A small girl emerged, bundled in a pink coat, her cheeks bright red from the cold. She stumbled, snow clinging to her boots, but determination propelled her forward. Tears of relief prickled at the corners of Sarah's eyes. The police officers quickly moved in, grabbing their flashlights and heading toward the girl. Sarah followed closely, her heart racing with each step. Running could have sent a thrill of excitement through her in another context, but this was different. Sweetheart, you're safe. Don't worry, we've got you, one of the officers said, kneeling down to meet the girl's frightened eyes. Where's my mom? The girl cried, her voice trembling. Let us find her together, the officer reassured, comfort in his tone, yet urgency in his actions. The little girl's gaze flicked past Sarah and the officers, searching through the crowd now assembling at the mouth of the path. Sarah's heart ached at the sight of her innocence, swamped in fear and confusion. Suddenly, another voice broke through the sound of frantic footsteps crunching through the snow. A woman, breathless and wide-eyed, emerged from the woods, her worry palpable. Darling! She cried, falling to her knees in the snow as she reached for her child. The reunion was immediate and charged sobbing breaths, hugs that seemed to last a lifetime. In that moment, Sarah felt tears welling in her eyes, a weight lifting as joy replaced fear. It was raw and powerful. The love of a mother was an undeniable force, instinctively protective and utterly fierce. Thank you. Thank you so much. The mother exclaimed, holding her daughter tightly. As the other officers began coordinating a search for any further missing children, Sarah stood back, Duke pressed against her leg. The small scene before her was a beautiful reminder of humanity's resilience, how love could conquer fear even in the darkest moments. Mom? Can I help? Lily's voice broke through the buzz of the crowd, her innocent eagerness shining through the trepidation. Before Sarah could respond, another officer approached them. We'll need all hands on deck. There could still be more kids out there. Lily's eyes widened with determination. I want to help. We can find them. The weight of that statement hung in the air, a challenge echoing through Sarah's heart. Could they truly be the light that led others back from the cold? With resolve flowing through her, Sarah met Lily's gaze. All right, sweetheart. Let us be brave together. As they embraced this daunting task, instilling hope and warmth in the heart of winter's chill, Sarah felt a spark of something greater, a sense of purpose that reached beyond herself. But as the snow fell heavier, she couldn't shake the sense that bigger storms loomed ahead. What else might the night unveil? As they prepared to venture out into the cold dark, Sarah couldn't help but wonder who else might need their help before dawn. Sarah and Lily moved away from the warmth of the cozy house, stepping into the crisp air where snow swirled like feathers caught in a gentle wind. Duke, sensing the urgency, kept close to Sarah's side, his fur a comforting presence against the cold. Stay together, okay? Sarah said, her voice steadying as she turned to Lily. We'll form a search party with the officers. They joined a small group of police officers, each one powering through the snow with determination in their strides. Sarah felt adrenaline coursing through her, igniting every sensation as she stomped through the snow-laden ground. She encouraged Lily with a smile, but deep inside, her nerves twisted. As they approached a clearing in the woods, the officers called out for any children who might be lost. If anyone is out there, please respond. We're here to help you. The echoes of their voices ricocheted off the trees, each shout a plea that cradled the hope for families still in distress. Mommy! Someone cried out in the distance, a faint sound but unmistakable. It sent a shiver of urgency through Sarah. She looked at Lily, her heart racing. Did you hear that? She asked, barely able to hold back the raw emotion in her voice. Lily nodded, her eyes wide with both fear and resolve. We have to go. With a shared glance, they hurried in the direction of the voice, their hearts pounding like drums against the serene backdrop of snow. The closeness of the call grew louder, as if the winds were guiding them. Soon, they reached another clearing, where the snow, untouched and pristine, glimmered beneath the fading light. And there, nestled against a tree, was another small figure, a boy, no older than 6. His face was wet with tears, and his shivering frame was curled with despair. "Hey, buddy. You're not alone," Sarah called out, kneeling to appear less intimidating. "We are here to help. What's your name?" "James," he whispered, his tiny voice barely audible above the wind. "James, you're so brave. Can you tell me where your mom is?" His gaze darted around, taking in the sudden warmth of familiar faces surrounding him. "We got lost. I can't find her." Duke, sensing James's fear, moved closer, his calm demeanor providing some semblance of comfort. "It's okay, James. You're safe now," Sarah spoke softly, but there was a delicate edge to her voice. Inside, she could feel the urgency of needing to reassure him before fear consumed him. Just then, a new sound traveled through the woods, a voice calling out frantically, filled with panic. "James! James!" Lily grabbed Sarah's hand tight, eyes wide in excitement. "That's his mom. She's coming." As if on cue, a woman burst into the clearing, her face red from the cold but illuminated with a heartwarming relief when she spotted her son curled up in the snow. "James!" she cried, rushing forward. The embrace that followed was raw and emotional, flooded with the kind of connection that made the world momentarily disappear. Sarah felt a lump rise in her throat as she witnessed the unconditional love of a mother, a love that battled through darkness and uncertainty. When the reunion calmed, the officer guiding their search approached, a grin spreading across his face. "We are making progress, but let us keep looking. We need everybody's eyes out here." She nodded and caught Lily's eye. This was their chance to make a real difference. "Let us keep going," she whispered to her daughter, who bounced on her toes in anticipation. The night had shifted, evolving in a storm of emotions. Yet as they prepared to push deeper into the woods, a haunting sound brought them to a halt. A child's distant wail cut through the thick atmosphere, echoing back to them. Sarah's heart dropped. Who could it be? Who else needed them? Rushing forward with renewed urgency, she instinctively tightened her grip around Lily's small hand. The cold of the night felt more alive now, a blanket of unease wrapping around them. What else would the night unveil? Sarah knew something, deep down, they were on the brink of uncovering a truth that could change everything. As they pressed deeper into the woods, the wailing grew louder and more distinct. It clawed at Sarah's chest, a sound so raw and unlike anything else. The wind seemed to wail along, amplifying the fear that gripped her. What child was out there? "Stay close, sweetie," Sarah instructed, her voice quiet but firm. She wasn't just trying to soothe Lily, she needed to steady herself, too. The darkness felt thick, almost suffocating, as they navigated the trees and snow. Duke trotted ahead, his tail wagging, an unwavering soldier in their search. Sarah hoped he could lead them to the source of the cry. "Duke, find her boy," she urged, her heart pounding with a mix of dread and hope. As if he understood, Duke perked up and darted forward through the trees. Sarah and Lily followed, breaths quickening with anticipation. She turned to Lily, who was looking up, her face lit with determination. "Do you think she's okay?" Lily asked, her brows knitting together with concern. "I hope so," Sarah replied, forcing a smile to reassure both of them. "Just remember, we're here for each other. We can do this together." The wailing stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. It made Sarah's heart race even faster. Then, from somewhere hidden in the dark, a voice pierced through, small and trembling. "Help! I can't find my mommy." "Right there," Lily called out, pointing toward a cluster of trees. Sarah felt a surge of energy as they sprinted toward the sound. In a small clearing, they found her, a little girl, probably no older than 5, crouched in the snow, tears streaming down her flushed cheeks. "Hey, hey!" Sarah called, crouching down like she did with James. "Can you tell me your name?" "Ellie," the girl choked out, her little hands clasped tightly around her knees. "Ellie, you're so brave." "We're here to help you," Sarah said softly, inching closer. "Do you know where your mommy is?" I was playing. I didn't mean to get lost." Ellie cried, her tiny voice breaking. The moment was crushing. Sarah wanted to scoop her up, cradle her, and take away all the fear. Just then, Duke approached the girl, wagging his tail and nuzzling her shoulder. Ellie gasped, then let out a small laugh between sobs. "That's Duke. He will help you." Lily chimed in, relief washing over her. "Can you help me, Duke?" Ellie asked, and for a moment, it felt like everything would be okay. But the air was still thick with uncertainty. Sarah looked around, desperate to spot anyone. "Let us get you up, okay?" She grasped Ellie's tiny hand and lifted her to her feet, looking back toward Lily. "We have to keep searching. We need to find your mom, Ellie." Just then, a distant shout resonated through the trees. "Ellie! Ellie!" Sarah's heart leaped. That could be her mom. "Come on, let us follow that voice." With Ellie now safe in one arm, and Lily clasped tightly in the other, they moved as quickly as they could through the thickening foliage. Each step drove them closer to the sounds of love and reunion. As they emerged into another clearing lit by faint moonlight, a woman barged into view, her face stricken with despair, calling Ellie's name. The moment their eyes locked, it was as if time stood still. "Mommy!" Ellie shrieked, tearing herself from Sarah's grip and racing into her mother's arms. The woman enveloped her child, both of them trembling but safe, and with each heartbeat, the love radiated like warmth on the coldest night. Yet for Sarah, a new chill lingered, the thought that this may not be over. How many children could still be out there? Just then, a crack in the trees to their right caught her attention, a fleeting shadow moving. "Did you see that?" she whispered, pulling Lily and Ellie close. Who was lurking in the dark? They weren't finished yet. The shadows shifted again, drawing Sarah's attention like a magnet. Heart pounding, she scanned the tree-line, the tension in her chest rising like a dark tide. The warm reunion of Ellie and her mother was fading into the background, overshadowed by an unsettling awareness that they were not alone. "Stay right here," Sarah instructed, her voice a whisper. She knelt down beside Lily, the frost of the ground biting at her knees. "We need to be quiet." Lily nodded, eyes wide as saucers, her grip tightening on Sarah. Ellie clung to her mother, still trembling but comforted by the warmth of her parent's embrace. Yet uncertainty twisted in Sarah's stomach. Then, the shadow reappeared, a figure, cloaked in darkness, just outside the ring of moonlight. Sarah's breath hitched. Was it another child? Or something more sinister? The air felt electric, the kind of charged atmosphere that made every small sound echo through the silence. "Duke," she beckoned softly, keeping her eyes fixed on the figure. The dog turned, ears perked, and stepped forward, tail low and alert. His body tensed, ready for anything, just as Sarah felt she must be. In one swift motion, the shadow stepped closer, breaking through the cover of the trees. Sarah's heart raced. It was a boy, not much older than Ellie, with wide eyes staring out from a dirt-streaked face, jeans torn and worn thin. "Help!" he shouted, panic lacing through his voice. "I can't find my sister." An icy fear shot through Sarah, mingling with a burning urge to help. "It's okay, sweetheart. What's your name?" "Tyler," he panted, glancing over his shoulder as if expecting something or someone to emerge from the woods behind him. "I was trying to find her when I got lost too." Overwhelmed by emotion, Sarah reached out her hand. Then let us find her together. Where were you last? Over by the big rock. We played hide and seek. His voice tailed off, eyes darting anxiously toward the trees again. Lily squeezed Sarah's hand, eyes filled with both excitement and fear at the thought of another child in need. We can help, she urged, stepping forward despite Sarah's alarm. All right, Tyler, Sarah said, standing tall. Lead the way. They plunged deeper into the woods, a group now: Sarah, Lily, Ellie, wrapped tightly against her mother, and Tyler leading the charge. Duke stayed just ahead, sniffing the ground, a steadfast guide in the freezing darkness. The trees enveloped them again, branches creaking with the wind. Each rustle of leaves heightened the anxiety looming overhead. Sarah's thoughts raced. Who else might still be out here, lost and afraid, like Tyler? How could this be happening? Then, just as they approached the big rock, its dark silhouette looming ahead, a voice echoed through the night. Tyler! Tyler! That's her! Tyler yelled, calling back. But his voice crackled with panic. The cry was frantic, desperate. We have to hurry, Zach urged, darting ahead. Wait! Sarah called, her voice ringing with worry, but the boy was already off, faster than she could react. Let us go, girls, she said, adrenaline surging through her veins. The shadows shifted again, and a deeper sound drew Sarah's attention. Something was in the underbrush, waiting. They weren't the only ones searching tonight. Tyler! She yelled, chasing after him, heart racing. What awaited them on the other side of the rock? Would they find the sister and what was lurking in the shadows? The night was far from over, and the danger loomed like the cold night air, thick and suffocating. The atmosphere in the woods grew heavy with dread as the shadows danced ominously through the trees. With every heartbeat, Sarah felt the pull of urgency, the need to find Tyler's sister before fear consumed them all. Stay close, Lily, she whispered, fear battling hope in her voice. Duke moved at her side, chest low and muscles tense, sensing the weight of the unseen lurking beneath the snow-laden branches. Tyler! She called again, as they entered the clearing. The flicker of moonlight illuminated the jagged contours of the rock, but it also highlighted the tension that hung thick in the air. Each rustle sounded sharper, each breeze cut colder. We need to stay together. Tyler's voice echoed ahead, desperation lacing his words. I'm here. I'm coming. Wait! Sarah shouted, her heart racing as she sensed movement behind them, a flash of dark against the stark white. She turned, readying herself, feeling Lily clutch her arm tighter. There's something out there, she exclaimed, breathless. Duke's growl vibrated in their midst, a warning that sent chills rippling down Sarah's spine. We need to get to Tyler. Lily's voice trembled. Let us go, Sarah urged, determination forging through her fear. They pressed on, despite the haunting sensations pressing against them. As they reached the rock, shadows continuously shifted, defying the stillness, eluding their grasp. Tyler! Where are you? She called. I'm right here, he replied, stepping into the light at the base of the rock. Behind him, Sarah caught a glimpse of a small figure, the silhouette of a girl cowering in the shadows. My sister! She's here! Jamie! Tyler cried, relief spilling out with the urgency of his voice. Come on! Yet the darkness seemed to hold its breath. Come here, Jamie! We're here to help! Sarah called, her heart pounding as she urged them forward, instinctively stepping protectively in front of Lily. From the edges of the trees, the shadows stirred, sending shivers down Sarah's spine. With a deep breath, she recalled the warmth they had shared back home, the laughter that filled the house, the community that was emerging. We are not alone, she whispered to herself. Suddenly, a small figure stepped forward, trembling and fragile. Jamie's small hands reached out, her eyes wide with fear. I don't know where to go." "It's okay," Sarah reassured, moving cautiously closer. "We'll take you home. Come to me." The sight of the child reminded her of Lily, so innocent, so filled with hope amid the fear that clouded the moment. "Mommy!" Jamie cried, her voice full of sorrow and longing. "It's okay, sweetheart," Tyler said, gently guiding her from her crouched position. "They're going to help us." "Stay with Auntie Sarah," Lily whispered, stepping close to Jamie. "We'll find your mom together." Just then, a loud crack echoed through the trees, freezing the air around them. Sarah's breath hitched in fear. "We have to hurry." With determination that surged through her limbs, Sarah turned, urging the children back toward where they thought safety lay. "Duke, lead the way," she called, and the dog moved with purpose, sensing the urgency. Panic twisted in Sarah's stomach. They needed to find the others. There was something else lurking, an unsettling darkness gathering, just beyond their sight. As they emerged from the dense thicket, she spotted the glow of lights in the distance. It was the warmth of their community, the very same that had given them strength earlier in the night. "Look!" she urged the kids, excitement mixing with relentless fear. "That's home. We can make it." But the shadows twisted tighter, and in that moment, Sarah felt a rush of bravery for not just her family but for everyone who had experienced fear tonight. "We can't disappear into the dark. We stay out together." Time stretched, each heartbeat echoing with hope and unwavering determination. "Stay behind us," Sarah instructed. The darkness thinned as they sped towards the welcoming lights. Each step was a promise, each breath filled with purpose. They broke through the edge of the woods, light pouring over them, illuminating the faces of their neighbors standing at the ready, searching with love and fierce determination. "There they are." Mike's voice boomed. Relief washed over him as he caught sight of the children. And just like that, muted screams of joy erupted around them. "You're back. You found them." Sarah felt her heart swell, tears gathering as the weight lifted. Duke barked, pushing forward to greet familiar hands outstretched with offerings of comfort. Everything shifted, the fear, the shadows, the loss, it all faded in the face of overwhelming love and unity. "Safety at last," Sarah whispered as she sank to her knees, wrapping her arms around Lily, Jamie, and Tyler, their hearts beating as one, amidst an unwavering community that stood behind her, determined, resilient, and fiercely loving. They had faced the darkness together, and together they had emerged into the light. That electric moment of reunion, where laughter finally drowned out the echoes of fear, Sarah realized they had indeed formed a bond that would last beyond this frigid night, the kind that would allow them to lean on one another, no longer afraid to embrace love's power in a world too often filled with shadows. As they stood enveloped in the warmth of community, the air shimmered with hope, a promise that in the face of any storm, they would always find home in each other. Now, with the future sparkling ahead like fresh snow under bright sunlight, they laughed together. And Sarah vowed she would never carry her burdens alone again. If you felt the power of love and community as this story unfolded, there's something you need to do. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive tales that bring us together. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for stories that touch the heart. We can create a wave of change with just one click. Comment your feelings about this ending. How did it inspire you? And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of uplifting our community through acts of kindness.